Hello, everybody, and welcome to another great episode of Hillbilly Select Reviews. And it is Wednesday, and Wednesday is Whiskey Day. Yeah, that's right. Tuesday tea, Wednesday whiskey, easy to remember. Friday beer, right? We're getting ready to start the weekend. Saturday, you have a nice dinner. A lot of times I do wine, and then my famous Sunday morning coffee reviews. Check them all out. Tonight I'm going to do Bulleit Bourbon. Now, I got the mini here. Now, there it is, pretty nice. The big bottle, which is shaped like that as well, kind of like an old-time medicine bottle, and the Bulleit and some of the writing is actually raised on the glass, and the label's a little askew. It helps it stand out, on the shelves. This bourbon here is 68% corn, 28% rye. It's a nice rye content, and 4% barley. So what are we going to expect now with the rye? A lot of bourbons, the higher the corn, the sweeter it is. This one, having the rye, think about eating regular bread, wheat bread, and eating rye bread. You notice how rye bread's more, it's spicy, it's got that bite to it. So rye bread tastes different, and that's the same grain that's going to be in here. So, yes, it has the corn as required, but it has to be 51% corn. But now they've decided to put a lot of rye in it. So let's see what we got here. All right, typical color, right? Nice amber color. I'll let that sit a second. I'm going to let that sit. I'll cover it up. And we'll let it sit, and I'll let it breathe a little bit. Now, let that air get in there. Right? Let those flavors flow. Funny thing about this, I was up in Philadelphia, and there was a bar there, and I was missing home. I was missing Kentucky. Well, Philadelphia's home, but I've been living in Kentucky for a long time, so I wanted to represent Kentucky while it was my original home. And so I wanted bourbon, and all they had was Bulleit. And I had it. That was the first time I ever had Bulleit. Of course, that's the only thing they had at that bar, which is odd because I'm so used to being in Kentucky where there are hundreds and hundreds of bourbons. I mean, there's whole bars dedicated to bourbons, bourbon bars. And so I had it, and I actually enjoyed it. I remember thinking it was a heck of a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Had the head other stuff, I wouldn't have ordered that. But I'm glad I did. I'm glad they didn't have anything else. So let's get to, now that it's opened up a little bit, let's get to smelling it. Look at that. You probably can't even see that, can you? There it is. Bourbon Classic. I go to these things, right, where they have a lot of bourbons. I have the distillers and the owners, and they'll have all kinds of bourbons. And obviously you pay, and then you can go in and have unlimited tastings and conversations with the makers, the distillers, the master distillers, and the owners. And a lot of times you can, you might get lucky and get a bottle, a limited edition, or one that's, going to sell out real quick, that's available here. You can place an order at these things. So it's the advantage of being in Kentucky, right? We get first dibs. Well, like I said, it's heavy rye, so it's so different from some of the other ones. This one is spicy. A little bit of, I'd say like black pepper, and it's got a leathery type smell. Tobacco, which isn't, you can get that sweet oak aroma underneath all that. But the sweetness definitely takes a back seat to some of those other smells, more woodsy, spicy smells. All right, first let me tell you this. It is 45% ABV, 90 proof. It's hot, all right? It's hot. I like this profile. It's not as sweet as a lot of bourbons, all right? If you want it sweet, there's other ones, Maker's Mark, stuff like that. That's really sweet. This one has a bite to it, a pepper. It has heat. It tastes kind of dryish, I guess, because it's not as sweet. I mean, it's still, bourbon's always going to taste sweet to me, but not like a lot of them. First thing you get is that bite, that pepper. It's got a spiciness besides the pepper, and I don't know if it's a combination between a nutmeg, a cinnamon, a clove. I think y'all could get different things. I think you'll pick one of those spices out of there. Tell you what. I taste tobacco. It's more of a. I like it. It's not just real sweet. I like them. I like those spices. Not only spices of black pepper, but those other like baking spices that I mentioned. The tobacco, the leather, sweet oak, smell, the vanilla, oaky, mapley. A lot going on in this. I like it, but it's a harsher, if I dare say. Just with the woodsy type, the heat and the pepper and the leather and the tobacco. That's what I consider like more of a. Well, this is called Bulleit Bourbon Frontier Whiskey. It kind of tastes like the old Frontier. It really does. Some of them are a lot smoother, a lot sweeter. But I like this. I like this little bit of this old world type. If it was a wine, I would call it old world flavor, where you get that leaves and tobacco and stuff like that. Now I'm going to put the sliced bit of water in here. All right, it's very little, just a little. We're going to see what that does. A lot of times I think that brings out sweetness, but we'll see. And it has cut down on the pepper, see? I know what I'm talking about. Now I'm getting a toffee butterscotchy type smell more coming out. Yeah, see, put a little water in there. I knocked that down. It was 90, now it's not 90 anymore. Oh, what I did is, just a little bottle, 50 milliliters, and I just put a cap full of water. Now, one thing about bourbon, and why it's so good coming from Kentucky, it's almost, we're on a limestone shelf here. So all the water is basically filtered through that limestone, and it really adds to the character of the whiskey. This distillery is 5 minutes from downtown Louisville. If you're ever here, come visit it. Call them, make a reservation. Some places you need a reservation, some places you don't. It's always good to check. All right. So I don't like it as much with the water. Yeah, it brought out the sweetness, but I like that rough character that it had. I'm almost getting like a fruity, like a orange, maybe a mixture between an orange and a peach now in there, since I added the water, and of course it is airing out, so it has changed the character. But I like the original out of the bottle with the bite and stuff like that to it. I'm not as enamored with the water, but if that's a little too rough for you, and then you put a little water in, excuse me, or an ice cube. The problem with an ice cube, okay, yes, it adds water slowly, but whenever something's cold, such as ice cream, the cold kind of seizes up the flavor. All right, if you eat ice cream cold like you're supposed to, and you let it melt, and you eat it with a spoon, after it's melted, it's going to be 50 times sweeter. Melted. They have to make it ice cream really sweet because you eat it cold, and the cold dampers that receptors to the sweetness. Well, same thing if you put ice in whiskey. It what I call closes it up and just kind of hides those flavors. So instead of putting ice, if you think this is a little rough, then you can put a splash of water, because water will not close it up. Water sometimes will expand it. All right, will open up some flavors, but it changes it and dilutes it a little bit. So you got to experiment. You got to play. So I like to do it both ways, right? I like to do it with and without water. Now 80 proof water, 80 proof's already, but now this was 90, so a little cap full of water doesn't hurt nothing. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to enjoy this. Now, if you're a bourbon drinker, give this one, this high rye content, a try. See if you like this Frontier Bulleit Bourbon. Give it a shot. It's different. If you're used to sweeter ones, the higher corn content, the Maker's Mark, you might be able to, you got to appreciate everything, right? You got to learn how to appreciate everything. This I doubt it's going to change your mind, all right? But if you're not really hooked on one style, give this a shot. I think you're going to enjoy it. So, from Hillbilly Select Reviews, thanks for watching. Bulleit Bourbon. Take those tasting notes. Grab yourself a bottle, even if it's a little bottle. Pour it in there. Drink it along with me. Tell me what you taste. Tell me what you smell. Put it in the comments. All right? So from Hillbilly Select Reviews, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Cheers, everybody.